What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard. Today, I want to talk about unwritten post orders. Now, all of us are familiar with your standard operating procedures, your post orders for your sites. Now, these are going to be the contractually obligated things that you as an officer or the company are going to be providing for the client. But there is something that is often not explained or talked about, and that's going to be the unwritten post orders. Now, I had put up a post about 3 weeks ago, and it was talking about the importance of talking to your client, interacting with your client when you first reach your post, when you get there in the morning, saying good morning to that manager, to that director. And I said something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing here, that you should talk to the manager, you should talk to the director and see if there's any changes to the post orders. I think that was taken out of context, because on the thread of that video, there was like 11 or 12 comments where people were like, no. Any sort of changes to the post orders, that has to go through the company. Anything that's changed in terms of what you're going to be doing, that has to go through your supervisor. The security guard, the officer themselves should not be involved in having conversations about changing post orders. I might have misspoke, or maybe I wasn't clear in what I was trying to get across. Now, there are unwritten post orders, and I want to share with you guys the conversation that I had with the store director that led me to make that video in the first place. So aside from what you're contractually supposed to be doing at any location that you're working, you're going to have conversations with your directors, your managers, the client themselves, in terms of things like where you stand or where you eat your lunch, the location where you're supposed to put your backpack or your bags, things like that. And this is no different in the location that I work. Specifically in this one post, we have a podium. Now, this podium was created for loss prevention. It was created for the door greeters. But at this one location, we don't have a lot of door greeters. And for the most part, the role that we're serving currently, we're at the entrance and we're at the exit. And this podium is just a perfect place for security post up. Where it's located, it gives us the full eye view of a back entrance. It gives you the full eye view of the escalator that comes up into the location, the retail location. It has the entrance to its left, and your back is up against a wall. It gives you a really safe place to be and be able to see multiple entrances and exits. Along with that, there's also some security cameras and monitors, so you're able to see throughout the entire store. It is a absolute dream for an officer in terms of being able to post up somewhere and have access to so much information from this one location. However, this is not a place that was specifically set up for security to stand. The client is allowing us as guards to utilize the space. So throughout the course of the time that we've been utilizing this, like most security guards, like most security companies, you have guards that are coming in for the morning shift, switching out for the evening shift. You have guards that are working certain days. You have other guards that are working certain days. And unfortunately, things pile up and things get dirty. So taking advantage of this, come in and talk to the director, come in and talk to the client approach. I came in that morning, the morning of that video, and I said hi to the boss. And she happened to be very frustrated with some trash that was left at this podium. And in talking to her and having a conversation with her, it wasn't something that was a one-time occurrence. It wasn't something that had just happened the night before. This is something that she had noticed and something that she had taken note of, and she was very frustrated. So by having this conversation with her and talking to her, it gave her an opportunity to vent. And I was able to assure her that I would take care of it. I would reach out to my supervisor. I would reach out to the team. We would address the situation, and we would make sure that we were on top of that and it would never happen again. Now, short of having this conversation with her, she was going to pull the plug and we weren't going to be able to utilize this specific location. So very much so, by having that rapport with this director, by having that daily conversational interaction with this director, where I was able to just ask her how her morning was going, and she felt comfortable and felt that I was in a position where she could share and reiterate to me some feelings that she had. And we were able to have a conversation where we were able to squash this problem before it became a bigger issue. Now, think about something like that on a larger scale. If it's an issue between a security officer and an employee, security officer and a subject, security officer and a customer, these are the type of things that could cause a contract to be cut or cause a security officer to be removed or taken off the contract. So having an opportunity where you can commune and have conversations with people, if it's feasible. Okay. Now let me just say this, because I don't want to get 17 comments on this video as well. If it's feasible, some people, you just don't have any business talking to the client. Some people don't have the ability to articulate themselves. They don't have the ability to understand what's above their pay grade, things that they shouldn't be talking about. And that kind of stuff has to be taken into account as well. I understand why most companies say, look, just don't talk to the client. Don't have these conversations. If there's a problem, forward that to the supervisor. However, if you're in a position where you have these daily conversations and you're able to stay within the scope of your work, stay within the scope of your position and not talk about something that's well above your pay grade or outside of the realm of what you should be discussing, these little conversations that you have are so important. Because if you do have that rapport, if you do have that kind of relationship and you're able to head things off before they become an issue, it can save a lot of problems, save a lot of trouble, and give that person the opportunity to kind of vent and then give you direction. Now, again, the directions that I was talking about in that initial video were directives in terms of situations like this, where you're standing, where you're placing your bag, where you're taking your lunch. These are the little things that are solely up to the client and have nothing to do with the contract, and they have nothing to do with your job in terms of interacting with the subject or interacting with the customers. This is strictly about the utilization of the facility or the equipment or the things that the client has 110% control over. So it is very important for all of you guys as security guards to understand that you are going to have your post orders. You're going to have your standard operating procedures, but there's going to always be underlying things at each location that the client has 110% control over. Those are the things that I think you should be talking to the client about and asking questions and making sure that you're doing things that are pleasing and applicable to what they want from you, so that you can make sure that you're servicing that contract in a way that is beneficial to them and beneficial to your employer as well. Okay. So just a quick update on that video and something that I want you guys to think about. You have your standard operating procedures, you have your post orders, but there will always be unwritten rules and things that are different for each location that you have to be aware of. If you're not able to be aware of these things and be able to mitigate those and work around those things or work within those things, you will find that even though you're following the post orders and you're doing what you're asked to do, you will still find yourself jammed up if you can't see, figure out, and mitigate and articulate how to deal with these things as well. Okay. So just some quick updates on that. You guys be great. Take care.